Princess Zara pressed her pale hands against the cold window of the diplomatic vessel. Her once bright crystalline skin now looked like faded glass. Through the viewport, she could see the massive space station where representatives from dozens of worlds gathered to discuss the fate of her people. The Vorthak Empire had ruled peacefully for thousands of years. Her father, King Valdros, was known throughout the galaxy as a fair and wise leader, but now their entire civilization faced something no amount of wisdom could solve. Zara's people lived differently from most species in the galaxy. While others ate food or consumed various materials for energy, the Vorthak absorbed pure light and radiation from their twin suns. Their crystal-like skin converted stellar energy directly into the power they needed to live. For generations, this had made them strong and independent, but 3 months ago everything changed. A massive cosmic storm had swept through their home system. Dark clouds of space dust and electromagnetic interference now blocked the light from both suns. The storm was unlike anything their scientists had ever seen. Their best estimates said it would last at least 2 more years before clearing. Without sunlight, the Vorthak were slowly dying. Zara pulled her royal robes tighter around her thin frame. She had lost much weight over the past weeks. All her people had. The lucky ones were those who had been traveling in other systems when the storm hit. But even they would eventually weaken without returning home to recharge. She turned away from the window as footsteps approached. Her advisor, Commander Crix, entered the chamber with his usual serious expression. "Princess, your father requests your presence in the council hall," Crix said with a respectful bow. "The Galactic Council has prepared another proposal." Zara nodded and followed him through the curved corridors of their ship. Other Vorthak crew members moved slowly through the halls, their skin dim and their movements careful. Everyone was trying to conserve energy. The council hall buzzed with activity when they arrived. Representatives from dozens of worlds sat around a massive circular table. King Valdros sat in the Vorthak section, his tall frame still impressive despite his obvious weakness. "Ah, Princess Zara," called Chancellor Dix from the Zilonian delegation. "Please take your seat. We have exciting news." Zara sat next to her father, who gave her a tired but loving smile. Around the table she saw familiar faces from many species, the blue-skinned Aquarians with their flowing robes, the insect-like hive queens clicking softly to each other, the energy beings from Sector 7, glowing bright in their containment suits. Everyone here wanted to help the Vorthak. The problem was that nothing worked. "We have developed a new synthetic energy formula," announced Dr. Helix, the lead scientist from the Coalition worlds. "Our tests show it produces radiation very similar to your home suns." King Valdros sat forward with interest. "We are grateful for your continued efforts, Doctor." Dr. Helix activated a holographic display showing complex molecular structures. "This formula combines quantum energy particles with stabilized photons. We believe it could provide temporary nourishment for your people." A small device was brought forward, glowing with artificial light. Zara watched as her father placed his hand near the device. The synthetic radiation touched his skin, and for a moment everyone held their breath. King Valdros concentrated, trying to absorb the energy. His skin flickered slightly, but then returned to its dull state. He shook his head sadly. "I am sorry," he said. "My body rejects it as before. It feels wrong somehow." This had been happening for weeks. Every species in the galaxy had tried to help. The mechanoids offered power cells that could generate any type of energy. The Scions attempted to channel life force directly into Vorthak bodies. The elemental masters brought pure cosmic radiation from the center of the galaxy. Nothing worked. The Vorthak physiology was too specialized. They could only process the specific type of energy from their own twin suns. Zara felt dizzy as the meeting continued. The delegates discussed other possibilities, but she had heard it all before. Storage devices to hold sunlight from before the storm, artificial suns that might be built in space, genetic modifications that could change how Vorthak bodies worked. All of these solutions would take years to develop. Her people did not have years. "Princess, are you well?" asked Chancellor Dix. Zara realized she had been swaying in her chair. "I am fine, just tired," but she was not fine. The hunger was getting worse every day. It was not like the hunger other species felt when they needed food. This was deeper. Every cell in her body craved the warm touch of sunlight. She felt cold all the time now, even in heated rooms. "Perhaps we should take a break," suggested King Valdros, noticing his daughter's condition. As the meeting ended, Zara walked slowly back toward their ship. She needed to rest before the evening session. The corridors of the space station were busy with beings from many worlds going about their daily activities. Near the residential section, wonderful smells filled the air. Zara had noticed these scents before but never paid much attention. Other species seemed to enjoy them, but food had no meaning for the Vortak. The smells were coming from what the humans called a kitchen. Zara had learned about humans during her diplomatic studies. They were a relatively new species in galactic society, having only achieved space travel 50 years ago, but they had integrated quickly and were known for being helpful and creative. As Zara passed the kitchen entrance, she stumbled. The weakness in her legs had gotten worse over the past few days. She grabbed the doorframe to steady herself. "Are you okay?" A human male had appeared beside her, his brown eyes full of concern. He was shorter than most Vorthak, with dark hair and skin that looked warm compared to her crystal-like appearance. He wore a simple white uniform with stains that matched the wonderful smells in the air. "I am fine," Zara said, trying to stand straight. "You don't look fine," the human said gently. "Here, sit down for a minute." He guided her to a chair near the kitchen entrance. Zara was too weak to argue. The human disappeared briefly and returned with a cup of clear liquid. "Just water," he said. "It might help." Zara accepted the cup, though she knew water would do nothing for her condition. The human sat across from her, still looking worried. "I'm Marcus," he said. "I'm the chef here. I've seen you around the station." "I am Princess Zara of the Vorthak Empire," she replied automatically. "Right, the energy absorption people," Marcus said, nodding. "I've been following the council meetings." "Tough situation." Zara was surprised. Most beings at the station were diplomats or scientists. She had not expected a chef to know about her people's problems. "Your species fascinates me," Marcus continued, living directly on starlight. "It's beautiful in a way, like being connected to the universe itself." "It is not beautiful when the stars go dark," Zara said quietly. Marcus was silent for a moment. "No, I suppose it wouldn't be. I'm sorry." There was something different about this human. Most beings offered sympathy or scientific solutions. Marcus seemed to actually understand how she felt. "Can I ask you something?" Marcus said. "What does it feel like, the hunger?" Zara considered the question. No one had asked her that before. "It is like being in a cold, dark room forever. My body knows something is missing, but it cannot remember what warmth feels like." Marcus nodded slowly. "That sounds terrible." "The council members try to help," Zara continued, "but their solutions all feel artificial. My body knows the difference between real sunlight and synthetic copies, like the difference between real food and fake food," Marcus said thoughtfully. "I do not understand," Zara said. "Sorry. Human reference," Marcus explained. "We can make artificial food that has all the right nutrients and chemicals, but it never tastes right. Our bodies know it's not real. There's something missing that you can't replicate in a lab." Zara found this interesting. "Your people experience this too?" "In a way," Marcus said. "Food is more than just fuel for humans. It's comfort, culture, love. When someone cooks for you with care, it nourishes more than just your body." The concept was foreign to Zara, but something about it seemed important. "I should return to my ship," she said, starting to stand. The movement made her dizzy again. "Wait," Marcus said quickly. "Could you stay a few more minutes?" "I want to try something." Zara hesitated. She did not want to be late for the evening council session. But Marcus had been kind to her and she was curious about what he meant. "What do you want to try?" "Just an experiment," Marcus said. "I've been thinking about your people's situation. You absorb energy from stars, right? What if the problem isn't finding the right type of energy, but finding the right way to give it to you?" "I do not understand," Zara said. Marcus stood up, excitement growing in his voice. "Stars don't just make energy. They make it through fusion, combining simple elements into complex ones. The energy comes from creation, from building something new." He gestured toward the kitchen behind him. "That's what cooking is too. Taking simple ingredients and combining them into something greater. What if your people could absorb the energy of creation instead of just the energy of radiation?" Zara stared at him. The idea sounded impossible. "The Vorthak have never consumed physical matter." "But maybe you could," Marcus said. "Not for the matter itself, but for the creative energy that went into making it." Before Zara could respond, Marcus had disappeared into the kitchen. She heard the sounds of him working quickly. Metal pans clinked together. Water bubbled. Strange but pleasant sounds filled the air. 15 minutes later, Marcus returned with a simple bowl and spoon. Steam rose from the bowl, carrying a rich, warm smell that made Zara feel something she had not experienced in months. "This is just soup," Marcus said, setting the bowl in front of her. Vegetables from Earth simmered slowly with herbs and care. "I've been making it for other delegates who were feeling homesick." Zara looked at the golden liquid in the bowl. "I have never consumed food before." "I know," Marcus said softly. "But maybe this once you could try. Not as food, but as captured sunlight." "Captured sunlight?" Marcus smiled. "Everything in this soup came from plants that grew under Earth's sun. They absorbed sunlight for months, storing it in their cells. When I cook them gently, that stored energy gets released. In a way, this bowl contains dozens of hours of sunshine." The idea seemed crazy, but something about Marcus's words resonated with Zara. She had studied energy conversion as part of her royal education. Plants did indeed store solar energy in their tissues. "Even if that were true," Zara said, "I would not know how to absorb energy from physical matter." "Maybe the same way you absorb it from starlight," Marcus suggested. "Just try to feel the warmth and let your body do what it knows how to do." Zara picked up the spoon with trembling hands. The soup felt warm against the metal. She lifted a small amount to her mouth, unsure of what to expect. The moment the liquid touched her lips, something extraordinary happened. A gentle warmth spread across her mouth, different from anything she had ever experienced. It was not the direct energy transfer she was used to from starlight. This was softer, more complex. As she swallowed, the warmth moved down her throat and into her body. Her crystalline skin began to glow. It was faint at first, just a slight brightening around her fingertips. But as she took another spoonful, the glow spread up her arms. The cold, empty feeling that had lived in her chest for months began to ease. "It's working," Marcus whispered, his eyes wide with amazement. Zara could not speak. She was too focused on the incredible sensation spreading through her body. Each sip of soup brought more warmth, more energy. But it was not just the physical nourishment that amazed her. There was something else in the soup. Something that felt like the care and attention Marcus had put into making it, as if his desire to help her had somehow become part of the meal itself. She finished the entire bowl, and for the first time in months, Zara felt truly warm. Her skin now glowed with a soft, steady light. Not as bright as when she was fully charged from the twin suns, but stronger than she had been since the cosmic storm began. "How is this possible?" she asked, staring at her glowing hands. Marcus shook his head in wonder. "I'm not sure. But maybe your people have been thinking about energy too narrowly. Stars don't just make light and heat. They make complexity. They make life possible. Food is just another form of stellar energy, processed through living things." Zara stood up, and for the first time in weeks, she did not feel dizzy. Her legs were steady. The constant cold was gone. "My father must know about this," she said urgently. "Of course," Marcus agreed. "But Zara?" She turned back to him. "This is just the beginning," Marcus said with a smile. "If this works, if your people can really gain energy from food, then Earth has thousands of different ways to help you. Every culture on my planet has developed different cooking methods, different ingredients, different ways of combining flavors." The implications hit Zara like a wave. If her people could survive on food instead of starlight, they would never have to worry about cosmic storms again. They could travel anywhere in the galaxy. They could build new colonies on worlds without suitable stars. "Will you come with me to speak to my father?" Zara asked. Marcus nodded without hesitation. "I would be honored." As they walked together toward the Vorthak ship, Zara felt hope for the first time since the crisis began. The warm glow in her skin was proof that impossible things could happen. A simple human chef might have just saved her entire civilization. The evening council session was about to begin. But tonight, instead of hearing another failed solution, King Valdros would learn that his daughter had found something wonderful, something that started with kindness and ended with hope. Princess Zara and Marcus walked quickly through the corridors of the space station toward the Vorthak diplomatic vessel. Zara's skin still glowed softly from the soup she had consumed, a sight that made other delegates stop and stare as they passed. "Princess," Your luminescence has returned, observed Ambassador Quell from the Centauri Federation as they hurried by. Yes, it has, Zara replied, but she did not slow down to explain. There would be time for explanations later. The entrance to the Vorthak ship was guarded by 2 soldiers whose crystalline skin looked dim and tired. When they saw their princess approaching with a bright glow, their eyes widened in amazement. "Princess Zara," said Captain Rex, the senior guard. "You look well. How is this possible?" "I will explain everything soon," Zara said. "Is my father in his chambers?" "Yes, Princess. He is preparing for the evening council session." Zara led Marcus through the elegant halls of their ship. The Vorthak vessel was beautiful, with walls that looked like carved crystal and soft lighting that normally came from the natural glow of the crew. Now, with everyone weakened, the ship felt dark and cold. They passed several crew members who stopped in shock when they saw Zara's renewed brightness. Word would spread quickly through the ship that something important had happened. At the entrance to the royal chambers, Zara paused and turned to Marcus. "My father has been under great stress," she said quietly. "The weight of our entire civilization rests on his shoulders. Please be patient with him." Marcus nodded. "I understand." Zara pressed her hand to a crystal panel and the door opened silently. Inside, King Valdros sat at a large desk, reviewing reports from their home system. His tall frame looked thin and tired, his usually magnificent presence diminished by weeks of hunger. "Zara, you are early for our departure to the council," he said without looking up. Then he raised his head and saw her glowing skin. "The reports fell from his hands, my daughter," he whispered, standing slowly. "How are you bright again? Have the scientists found a solution?" "Not the scientists, father," Zara said, stepping forward. "This is Marcus, a chef from Earth. He has discovered something remarkable." King Valdros looked at the human with curiosity and hope. "A chef? I do not understand." Marcus bowed respectfully. "Your Majesty, I believe I may have found a way to help your people. Princess Zara has proven that it works." "Explain," the king said, his voice intense with desperate hope. Marcus took a breath and began to tell the story of what had happened in the kitchen. He explained his theory about food containing stored solar energy, and how cooking with care and intention might make that energy available to the Vorthak. King Valdros listened carefully, his eyes never leaving Marcus's face. When the human finished speaking, the king was quiet for a long moment. "You are saying that my daughter consumed physical matter and gained energy from it?" "Yes, Your Majesty," Marcus said. "And not just any physical matter. Food that was prepared with the intention of providing nourishment and comfort." "This seems impossible," King Valdros said. "The Vorthak have never needed to consume anything physical." "Father," Zara interrupted gently. "Look at me. I am stronger than I have been in months. The warmth has returned to my body. Whatever Marcus has discovered, it works." The king studied his daughter's renewed glow. There was no denying that she had somehow regained significant energy. "If this is true," he said slowly, "then you may have saved our entire species." "We need to test it with others," Zara said. "If more of our people can gain energy from food, then we have a real solution." King Valdros pressed a button on his desk. "Commander Crix, please come to my chambers immediately. Bring Dr. Voss as well." Within minutes, the king's advisor and the chief medical officer arrived. Both stopped in amazement when they saw Princess Zara's bright appearance. "How is this possible?" Dr. Voss asked, immediately moving toward her with a medical scanner. "That is what we are about to discover," King Valdros said. He explained what Marcus had told him about food and stored solar energy. Dr. Voss ran his scanner over Zara while she spoke about her experience consuming the soup. The readings made him shake his head in disbelief. "Your energy levels are at 60% of normal capacity," he reported. 3 hours ago, you were at less than 20%. This improvement should be impossible. But it is not impossible, Marcus said. It happened. The question now is whether it will work for other Vorthak. Commander Crix looked skeptical. Even if this human's theory is correct, we have thousands of our people across the galaxy who need help.
How could we possibly feed them all?
Earth has been feeding billions of people for thousands of years, Marcus replied. We have developed farming techniques, preservation methods, and cooking styles that could easily be adapted to help the Vorthak. King Valdros made a decision. We will test this immediately. Commander Crix, gather 5 volunteers from our crew. Dr. Voss, you will monitor their vital signs. Marcus, can you prepare more of this soup? I can do better than that, Marcus said with growing excitement. I can prepare several different types of food. If your people can absorb energy from my soup, they might respond even better to other dishes. They moved to the ship's dining hall, a beautiful chamber with crystal tables and chairs. Under normal circumstances, the Vorthak only used this room for formal ceremonies since they did not eat. Now it would serve a very different purpose. Marcus requested access to the ship's food synthesizers, which could create any ingredients he needed. The Vorthak used these machines to prepare meals for visiting diplomats from other species. While Marcus worked in the ship's kitchen, 5 volunteers gathered in the dining hall. All of them looked weak and tired, their skin barely glowing. Dr. Voss set up monitoring equipment to track their energy levels. "I'm not sure about this," said Engineer Tor, one of the volunteers. "Consuming physical matter seems wrong somehow." "Princess Zara looks healthier than any of us," replied Navigator Kez. "If it works for her, perhaps it will work for us too." King Valdros sat with his daughter, still amazed by her transformation. "Tell me more about this human," he said quietly. "Marcus is different from other beings I have met," Zara said. "He listens carefully and thinks about problems in new ways. When he saw that I was weak, his first instinct was to help. This matches what I know about humans," King Valdros said thoughtfully. "They are still new to galactic society, but they have already gained a reputation for compassion and creativity." 20 minutes later, Marcus returned with a tray of 5 different dishes. Each bowl contained a different type of food from Earth's many cultures. "I have prepared 5 meals," Marcus announced. "Vegetable soup from Europe, rice porridge from Asia, bean stew from Africa, corn soup from the Americas, and herb broth from the Mediterranean region. Each one represents different cooking techniques and ingredients." He set the bowls in front of the volunteers. The Vorthak looked uncertain as they picked up the unfamiliar eating utensils. "Just take small amounts at first," Marcus suggested. "Let your body adjust to the new sensation." Engineer Tor was the first to try his soup. The moment it touched his lips, his eyes widened in surprise. Like Zara, his skin began to glow softly. "I feel warmth," he said in amazement. "It is spreading through my body." The other volunteers quickly began eating their own dishes. Within minutes, all 5 Vorthak were glowing brighter than they had in weeks. Dr. Voss watched his scanners with growing excitement. "Energy levels are rising in all subjects," he reported. "This is unprecedented." Navigator Kez finished her rice porridge and looked at Marcus with wonder. "How did you know this would work?" "I did not know for certain," Marcus admitted. "But my people have learned that food is more than just nutrients. It carries the energy and care that goes into making it. When someone cooks with love and attention, that becomes part of the meal." "Love?" asked Engineer Tor. "I do not understand this concept in relation to food." Marcus smiled. "On Earth, when we prepare food for others, we put our hopes and feelings into the cooking process. We want the people who eat our food to feel better, to be healthy and happy. That intention somehow becomes part of the meal itself." King Valdros had been watching everything with intense focus. Now he stood and addressed Marcus directly. "If what you say is true, then you have given us more than just a way to survive. You have given us a new understanding of energy and nourishment." "There is much more we could share," Marcus said. "Earth has thousands of different food cultures. Every region has developed unique ways of growing, preparing, and cooking food. If your people are interested, we could teach you many different techniques." Princess Zara leaned forward eagerly. "Could you teach me these cooking methods?" "I would be honored to," Marcus replied. Over the next hour, more crew members came to test the food solution. Each one experienced the same miraculous result. Their energy levels rose, their skin began to glow, and the cold weakness that had plagued them for months began to fade. By the time the evening council session was scheduled to begin, word had spread throughout the space station that something extraordinary was happening aboard the Vorthak ship. King Valdros made an announcement over the station's communication system, requesting an emergency meeting of the full Galactic Council. When the delegates assembled in the council hall, they found a very different scene than before. The Vorthak delegation was glowing brightly, their skin healthy and their movements strong. "Honored colleagues," King Valdros began, his voice powerful once again. "Today we have discovered something that will change the future of our people forever." He introduced Marcus to the council and explained what had happened. The other delegates listened with amazement as the human chef described his theory about food containing stored solar energy. "This is remarkable," said Chancellor Dix. "But how can we be certain this solution will work long-term?" Dr. Voss presented his medical data, showing the dramatic improvement in Vorthak energy levels after consuming food. The evidence was undeniable. "If this treatment continues to work," said Ambassador Quell, "it could solve your crisis completely." "More than that," King Valdros said, "it could free our people from dependence on our home stars. We could establish colonies anywhere in the galaxy." The council erupted in excited discussion. Species from dozens of worlds began offering to help establish food production facilities for the Vorthak. But Marcus raised his hand for attention. "If I may, Your Majesty, I believe Earth should be the primary partner in this effort. We have the most experience with large-scale food production and diverse cooking techniques." King Valdros nodded. "I agree completely. I would like to propose a formal alliance between the Vorthak Empire and Earth." The Earth representative, Ambassador Chen, stood with excitement. "On behalf of my people, I accept this proposal. We would be honored to help the Vorthak learn our culinary arts." Over the following weeks, the partnership between Earth and the Vorthak Empire grew rapidly. Human chefs and farmers traveled to Vorthak ships throughout the galaxy, teaching cooking techniques and establishing food production systems. Princess Zara became Marcus's most dedicated student. She spent hours learning about different ingredients, cooking methods, and the cultural traditions behind various dishes. She discovered that each type of food provided different kinds of energy to her people. Spicy foods seemed to give Vorthak quick bursts of energy. Slow-cooked stews provided steady, long-lasting nourishment. Sweet dishes helped with mental clarity, while savory meals improved physical strength. "It is like learning a new language," Zara told Marcus as they worked together in the kitchen. "Each flavor and technique communicates something different to our bodies." Marcus watched with pride as his student mastered complex recipes. "You have natural talent," he said. "Your people are lucky to have you leading this transition." 3 months after their first meeting, Zara and Marcus stood together in the brand-new Intergalactic Culinary Academy that had been built on the space station. The facility would train chefs from many species to prepare food for the Vorthak. "I never imagined that food could be so important," Zara said, looking out at the busy kitchen where students from dozens of worlds worked together. "Food brings people together," Marcus replied. "It builds relationships and creates understanding between different cultures." King Valdros joined them at the observation window. His health had fully returned and he looked stronger than ever. "Marcus," he said, "your people have given us something precious beyond measure. How can we ever repay this debt?" "There is no debt, Your Majesty," Marcus said. "This is what humans do. We help each other. Nevertheless, the Vorthak Empire wishes to share our knowledge with Earth. Our energy manipulation technologies could solve many problems for your people." And so began a partnership that would benefit both civilizations for generations to come. Earth gained access to advanced energy systems that revolutionized their technology. The Vorthak gained not just survival, but a rich new culture centered around food and community. Princess Zara eventually became the head of the Culinary Academy, teaching thousands of students the art of cooking with care and intention. She never forgot the day when a simple bowl of soup had saved her life and changed her world forever. Marcus remained as her co-instructor, always amazed by how much the Vorthak students could learn about putting love and attention into their cooking. The cosmic storm that had threatened to destroy the Vorthak Empire finally cleared after 2 years. But by then, most Vorthak had chosen to continue their new lifestyle. They discovered that food provided not just energy but joy, creativity, and connection with other beings. The galaxy had learned an important lesson. Sometimes the most powerful solutions come not from advanced technology or complex science, but from simple human kindness and the desire to help others. And in every meal shared between Vorthak and humans, in every dish prepared with care and attention, the friendship between their peoples grew stronger.